Hey guys, I'm Madison Mary and welcome back to my channel. Today I have a brand new Booktuber favorites video. Obviously from the title of this video you can tell that I'm reading Katie from Katie's Book Nook's books. So her three books are going to be A Darker Shade of Magic by ɪɪsᴛᴏ. I have it over there, I'm like 30 pages in. Furyborn by liko, which is right here. And Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson. So I'm very excited to be reading these three books. I'll give you guys a lowdown of them once I've started, but like I said, I'm 30 pages into A Darker Shade of Magic. This is my first ever ɪɪ sᴛᴏ book, and 30 pages in, I'm already like really into her writing, so I can totally understand why some people just adore ɪɪ sᴛᴏ. Yeah, if you guys don't know Katie from Katie's Book Nook, she was one of my first friends here on Booktube. We have met countless times. I love her with my whole heart. And if you do not follow her channel, you are sorely missing out. So she'll be linked down below, and yes. Oh, she also just got a puppy. Okay, yeah, that's all for now. I'll catch you guys up later. Bye. Hey, so I'm feeling lazy. So this is the, what you getting? Okay, so it's Wednesday. Well, technically it's now Thursday because it's like almost 1 AM. But I'm 58% of the way through A Darker Shade of Magic, so I wanted to give you guys a quick update on it. If you guys didn't know, it's basically about this guy named Kel, and he is an Antari, which means that he is a blood magician. He is one of only 2 left. And blood magicians are known because they have one fully black eye, like the entire iris, like everything is just black. And they're special because they can travel between worlds, and there are 4 worlds. There's Grey London, White London, Red London, and Black London. Black London doesn't exist anymore because they went power hungry and then the magic took over people and it became a whole thing. When that happened, the other Londons shut themselves off. So White London is now ruled by these 2 twins that are like freaking crazy, and magic is starting to wane there because people became so power hungry for it that it actually started to disappear. And the throne is ruled, and it changes every couple of years because it's ruled by whoever's the most powerful. Those 2, the twins, they have possession of the other Antari that exists, whose name is Holland, and he's kind of like Kel's rival. Then we have Grey London, which has no magic. When it was sealed off, they kind of forgot it all and humanity prevailed, and so it's kind of like regular life. And then Red London is like this kind of nice balance where people have magic and everything's kind of chill, and it's where Kel came from. And he is also like a pawn of the royal family, but they kind of treat him like he's a second prince, which is kind of interesting because he's very reluctant to believe that he is. But yeah, we have Kel, but then we're also following a girl named Delilah Bart, and she's from Grey London, and she's a thief who has always desired to, you know, be a pirate and like go out and have adventures. So those are the 2 people we're following, Kel and Lila. And when the book starts off, there's a couple things that ends up happening, and Kel and Lila's paths ends up crossing, and they end up in possession of this relic from Black London, and they have to find a way to bring it back there because it's just gonna make everything awful and corrupt. And like, I like it. It's a really cool concept, and I've really enjoyed learning about the world and the magic, but there's been a couple of problems I have. The first one is the fact that Kel is supposed to be really powerful, but he's not. Like, him and Holland, when they're together, and then like the 2 twin people, he's not as powerful as them, or like if he is, he doesn't really show it, and like that's kind of annoying because he's like revered in that way, and he's kind of like talked about in that way, but he doesn't act in that way, and so it's strange. And then the world's really interesting, but the characters aren't. I'm not invested in them or their stories. This book really is just feeling like a setup. And I don't know if that's like what a lot of people think, because I feel like when I think of people who read this series, they absolutely adore it and they've like 5-starred all 3 books. I do adore ɪɪ sᴛᴏ's writing. Like, it's gorgeous. I love the way that she's describing everything, and like I can easily like see in my mind what these worlds are like, and I understand like the magic system. Like, I get why so many people say that this is a great segue into adult fantasy, because it definitely feels like a segue, because I've read other adult fantasies before that are a lot heavier in the way that they're written and a lot more convoluted and confusing in their magic systems, whereas this is very much kind of like holding your hand and walking you through it. And maybe that's the reason why I feel like I'm just kind of like, well, what am I reading? It's kind of sad because I feel like I know so many people who love this book, and I feel like I don't know many people who don't like this book or like think it's just average. Like I can't think of anyone who's just like 3-starred this, which is kind of strange. We'll see. I'm gonna keep on reading, see how far I can get tonight, because like I'm not tired or anything, but I'm just reading it and I'm like, I don't want to. Oh, this is so bad. This is like not at all what I was expecting, but I will admit that when it came to choosing the 3 books for Katie's, this was the one that I was the most hesitant about, because I bought it when, you know, I first joined Booktube, and it was the whole idea of like, you know, there was so much hype around it, and now I'm just kind of like, I don't know. I know that I'm going to love Sorcery of Thorns, like that's on my 5-star predictions list of this year. And I really think I'm going to enjoy Furyborn, but I've always been 50-50 about reading this book. I just don't know if it's going to really do it for me. So, I guess we'll say hi. Can you come say hello to the camera? Thank you. Come say hello. No? So I'll catch you guys up, maybe, can you not? I'll catch you guys up either later tonight or probably in the morning. Okay, goodbye. Hey, so I'm currently reading. I'm like almost done. I took 2 days off from reading just because I wasn't in the mood to read this book, which is kind of sad, but the ending's actually really good and I'm interested in it. But I want to say, we just found out that Lila actually has a glass eye, and like that doesn't really mean much, like, oh, she's a glass eye, whatever. The thing is a part of me is like, because Antares have 1 black eye and 1 regular eye, so I'm thinking, what if she has a glass eye because she used to be an Antari, or maybe she is an Antari and the glass eye is hiding her black eye and she doesn't even know it. That's all I wanted to say. Because I'm reading and I'm almost done, so we just have to wait. I'm really hoping that I enjoy the, I like this book, but I'm not like enamored with it. And I talked to Katie about it because she knows I'm doing this vlog. And she said that her love for this series really solidified in the 2nd and 3rd book. I don't know, I probably will continue with this series, but just not anytime soon. I mean, I don't even own the 2nd or 3rd book, so that's like another thing. But I will be reading Furyborn next. Also, these are like all my school books that I just got. Haha, fun. Okay, bye.
A little later.
I just finished ADSOM. Really did enjoy it. I think the back, like the last quarter is very action-packed. There's a lot going on and I had a lot of fun reading it. And then I just read the synopsis for the sequel, which mentions an element competition, and I'm like, that is my shit. So that sounds really cool. It just, as much as I did love it, it felt like a setup and kind of like a whole basis that was created for like the next 2 books in this series, which is fine. But I do think that my experience wasn't as great with this as I wanted it to be. But I think it's like a 3 out of 5 stars, which is good, okay? I hate how people think 3 out of 5 stars isn't like a solid rating. It's a solid rating, it's an average rating. So I'm just starting now Furyborn. That's Furyborn. I'm reading the first sentence of this book, which is the prologue, and the prologue starts with this: "The Queen stopped screaming just after midnight." Oh my god, what kind of an entrance is that? That is such a great first line to a book. I'm gonna start reading this, I'm very excited. Okay, bye. Okay, so I just finished the first 2 chapters of the book other than the prologue. So I read 1 chapter from Riel's POV, which takes place 2 years before the prologue, and then Eliana's POV, which takes place 1020 years after the prologue. Riel's POV takes place when there's still a lot of magic going around in these worlds. Riel actually has control over all 7 elements, and that is very unheard of. And apparently, according to synopsis, she ends up revealing that she has control over all 7 elements, and that means that she is either prophesized to be the Blood Queen or the Sun Queen, which is either, you know, the savior or the not savior. And so she ends up having to undergo trials to figure that out. But from what I can tell from this first chapter, she is very much trapped currently in her life because her dad has kind of been hiding the fact that she has control over all 7 elements, and she also has a lot of difficulty controlling them with her emotions a lot of the times, and she's kind of being treated as a prisoner inside of this temple. And then we have Eliana's POV, which takes place, you know, all these years later, and She is a bounty hunter essentially. Currently, all these years later, everything is ruled by the Empire, and the Empire took control after Queen ɪʻRiel died. You know from the prologue that this all happened. The prologue takes place where ɪʻRiel gives birth to a daughter, and then this young boy who's kind of a time traveler ends up taking the baby away to save the baby, and then ends up losing the baby during the time traveling, and ɪʻRiel dies. So my guess is that the daughter that ɪʻRiel has is actually Aliana, because Aliana has this pendant with her. That was the pendant that you see ɪʻRiel give to her baby when the baby is born, but we don't see any powers from her. So my guess is that she must be the prophesized Sun Queen. She just doesn't know it yet. I'm interested to see how everything kind of comes about. Like, how does ɪʻRiel become the Blood Queen? Like, how does she become this person that everyone ends up seeing as evil? Why does she end up killing her betrothed? Like, the prologue is like 7 pages long, and you find out that ɪʻRiel became queen. Everyone thought she was the Sun Queen. She turned out to be the Blood Queen. She ended up murdering her husband, and then gave birth, and everything went to shit. That's what it says. It's making my brain kind of constantly think, and I'm constantly wondering, oh, like, what does everything mean? Like, how could everything link up? Like, how do the prophecies still work, and all this kind of stuff. I'm also curious to see whether or not the little boy, the one who was a time traveler, actually survived, and like what actually happened to him. His name was Simon. So that's another interesting part of it. And yes, so I like the writing. It's interesting going back from reading an adult fantasy to now switching to a YA fantasy, just because the writing's just a lot, you know, I wouldn't say it's simpler, but the way that it's written is just more palatable. It's just easier to get through. It's more free-flowing and less kind of dense. And so it's a nice switch. So I'm going to read a couple more chapters of that, and then I need to actually read some of this for school next week. So starts on Monday and it's Friday, and I need to finish this book. I have a package, so I'm going to open it. I think this is from an author that reached out to me recently, but I'm not... Oh my god, what on earth? I wish I could, I can't show you this exactly because my address is all over this. The author that reached out to me. So Karen Briggs reached out to me. She's the author of the King's 100. I think this must be indie published then. Oh my god, she even signed it. Oh. It says, for Madison, the Princess of Paperback meets the Princess of Capelon. Oh my god, that is so cute. Hang on, Zelda, can you not eat these? I know that they look great, but that's not what I need you to eat at the moment. So we follow Piper Parrish, who is one of the princesses of Capelon, and her older sister has just become queen because their parents have died. Piper ends up receiving an anonymous note saying that her mum is actually still alive and is living in the enemy kingdom. So she chooses to flee, posing as a citizen in the enemy kingdom, and ends up auditioning for the King's 100, which is an esteemed performance group of singers, musicians, and drummers. Under Mondarian law, Piper will be killed if her identity is revealed, but living a life without the freedom to love might actually be the most dangerous risk of all. I'm really excited. Oh, this actually isn't that big either. So thank you so much for sending me this. And then I also got this little thing that says book swag. She has very nice handwriting. If you have nice handwriting, that's just like so special. My brother has like some of the worst handwriting in the world, but you know, still love him at least. Oh my god, are these character cards? Oh no way, they're like little well, it is our two main characters, but they're just little thingies. I don't even know what to call these. I have no word. Oh my god, it was so cute that it came with all this stuff. Alright, that's all for now, and I'll catch you guys up later. Bye. So this is my current reading buddy. He's staring at the cat. She makes him nervous. Isn't that right, Buzzy? Are you a cutie patootie? Hey, so I'm currently 50% of the way through 53% of the way through the book. It's 1:30 in the morning, so I'm not trying to speak too loudly. I'm like a little over halfway, so I have a couple of theories. It's what I love so much about this book is that I have all these theories and just there's all these things that are happening that just are making me think and like wonder, and I'm just trying to come up and figure out like what's going on. And one of my theories is the fact that, I think I mentioned this maybe in an earlier clip, what if ɪḻiana isn't the daughter of Riel and Aldrich, but Riel and Corin, who is the angel. Like maybe she's half angel, like that's like a whole big thing. That, or maybe she's just like fully, no, she can't be fully angel, that wouldn't make sense. I don't know if I mentioned that ɪḻiana has a younger brother named Remy, and he is so hilarious. Like he loves his older sister, but at the same time, like he knows that things that she's done has been wrong, even though she's been doing it to save the family. And so I just think that there are so many different dynamics in this book, and I've really enjoyed seeing how they've been fleshed out. I do think that at the moment ɪḻiana's relationships are a lot more fleshed out than Riel's, but I think that's kind of the point. You're supposed to see how kind of segregated Riel is from everyone else, and how she ends up feeling that she's so alone, and so she kind of feels like the only person she has to talk to is Corin. I've loved seeing her magic, because we don't really see a lot of magic in ɪḻiana's timeline, but in Riel's, like, it's full of magic, and it's so cool, like, seeing how she kind of, like, the whole essence of the universe, the whole essence of this world, the whole essence of magic is called the Imperium, and so kind of seeing how she connects to the Imperium is really awesome. I'll catch you guys up tomorrow. Goodbye. Okay, so according to Goodreads, I am 77% of the way through this book. And so, I wanted to come on here quickly and give you guys a nitty bit of an update. So, it's going really well. There have been a couple revelations that I had a feeling were going to come. ɪḻiana, I don't know if she's bisexual or like pan, but you know, she's had sex with men and women before, so that is representation. And then we just had a sex scene that involved Riel, and I do want to say that the guy she was having sex with, he spoke too much. I know that's like a really weird observation, but like I was reading it and it was a really well written scene, but I was like, why does he keep talking? Like, can he not just like... So I texted this to Katie and she's like, I never noticed that, but I guess you have a point. And I was like, I can't explain to you why I think things a certain way, okay? I understand ɪḻiana's plotline, but I'm interested to see how Riel is going to play out, because we kind of know how she dies, because she dies when the book begins. We still have to go through those 2 years in the time span, so I'm curious to see exactly what the point of her timeline is going to be, other than kind of understanding where everything stemmed from with the angels, and understanding exactly what makes her the Blood Queen, which as you are reading it, you can kind of see the inklings there in the way that her mind is, and the way that she has this connection to Corin. It's going really well. I'm really enjoying it, and I'm so glad I picked it up. But yes, okay. Goodbye. Just getting ready, but I wanted to show you guys what happens. I leave my bed, leave this little area, and she just she was all curled underneath. Oh, baby. Oh, I finished the book, but I'll talk to you guys about it in a little bit. Okay, so we just came back from dinner. I didn't have a chance to update you guys before we left because I was running late. So I'm gonna just update y'all now. So Furyborn, I forget the name of the book for a second. Furyborn was amazing. 5 out of 5 stars. I loved it. It was so good. There was some great steam in it. You know, it had really interesting POVs despite them. Sometimes it's hard to have POVs that aren't in the same timeline, and I haven't read a lot of books that deal with that, but I think the way that this dealt with it was really great, and I can definitely see the setup for the sequel. There are a lot of things that are going on, a lot of moving pieces. This is kind of like a massive chess game, and you're following a chess game with both sides being on 2 different timelines. And so you're wondering how things that happened back then have affected things that are now. And you know, there's a part of me that also wonders, you know, will Simon be able to time travel like maybe later on in other books, and like, will that be a part of this series, time travel? Because it is such a finicky thing to play with, and it's definitely something that I don't tend to really enjoy in books. I just think that whenever it's done, it feels kind of cheap. So I'm interested to see how it's going to play out, if it will play out in future books. That's all for this little update, and I'll catch you guys up later. Bye. Hi, so I'm currently 60 pages into Sorcery of Thorns, It's currently 2 in the morning. I have been putting off reading it for a hot min just because I started school yesterday, grad school, and so that's, you know, a little stressful at times. Following Elizabeth, she was left at the Great Library. There are like many libraries around in this area as a baby, and she was basically an orphan, and the director of this library decided to actually take her in. She was raised pretty much in this library. She's 16 when this book begins, and so she's a year away from potentially becoming a warden or training to become a warden, which is like a huge deal. So this world is kind of based off the idea that there are these libraries, and these libraries house grimoires, and these grimoires have, you know, they're magical grimoires. They have their own minds, and they are classed from different levels. I think it's 1 through 10, and this library that she is raised in only goes up to level 8, and grimoires that are above like a level 3 are put in like this vault. One night she wakes up and she can tell something's wrong. None of the guards are about, and she can smell the smell of sorcery. And then she finds the director dead. There was this level 8 grimoire that had been released. She then goes off to kill it and does manage to kill it, but because of this whole thing, she is then found guilty by the new director. And so the punishment is that she actually has to be taken to the Chancellor, who is like the head of all the sorcerers, the sorcerer that ends up becoming in possession of Elizabeth to take her to the Chancellor, Nathaniel Thorne. He's very sarcastic. He's like, get in the carriage because I need to go back to my regular life of, you know, scaring widows and kidnapping babies. And I'm just like, this is gonna be some great banter. I'm very excited, I can really tell. I loved Enchantment of Ravens by Margaret Rogerson back in the past. I'm just gonna head to bed now because I am tired, and I'll probably read more tomorrow. I wouldn't say I'm in like a slump, but I'm definitely not 100% in a reading mood at the moment. So like once I start reading, I'm into it, but it's an effort to begin the reading. So yes. Baby update for now, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye. Hey guys, so just thought I'd come on. It's been a couple of days since I last updated you guys because when I started grad school, everything went down the toilet. So it's been a week and I finished ᴛᴏɪᴛᴛᴇʀ last night. I was at the 50% mark for a week before I ended up picking it back up and then just finishing it, but that did happen, which makes me a little bit nervous for how the next 3 months are gonna go when I'm actually fully into grad school and not just, you know, the first week. So anyway, like I was saying, I just filmed my TBR for what month is it? September. I'm out of sorts today. I'm giving this 4 out of 5 stars. I really did enjoy it. It was a lot of fun, but it felt like there was something missing from it that makes books a 5-star. I think that if I was really enamored with this book, I would have found a way to make time for it during that week, but it took a while for me to pick this back up. And I think that as intriguing as this story was, as beautifully written as it was, because Margaret Rogerson has like stunning writing, and there's a battle at the very end, and that battle was just, it's one of the best I've ever read. Not because it's like gruesome or anything, but just the way that it's written and how it is done is just so cool and unique compared to anything I've ever read before. I wasn't as attached to Silas as other people were. Like, I liked him as a character, but I didn't love him as everyone else did. I thought the romance was really cute. It was very much a slow burn between Nathaniel and Elizabeth. And I also liked kind of learning about why Elizabeth is the way that she is and how she kind of is a child of the library and what that means. I thought that was a really awesome touch and not something that I had expected. I did love her best friend, Catherine. She was she was awesome. I have a new favorite, Furyborn, and I'm actually reading Kingsbane next month in September. This is coming out in September, so you guys will know already that it's on my TBR, but awesome. So at a 5-star, a 4-star, and a 3-star, which, you know, it's pretty fine. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. I do think she's gonna be a little bit disappointed in this one not being a 5-star, but I mean, I expected this to be 5 stars. It was on one of my 5-star predictions for this year, so even I thought that. So sometimes we're wrong. Clearly, after looking through my 5-star predictions video, I can tell that clearly I can't tell when a book is gonna be 5 stars. But yes, that is it for this. If you guys did enjoy it, Please hit the like button down below if you want to see more of me. Please subscribe to my channel, and until next time, thanks a bunch guys. Bye!